Welcome to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman, a leading expert in professional coaching, clinical hypnosis, and energy clearing. Lois is an award-winning author of Chronicles of Hope. She has decades of experience in advanced hypnosis techniques, has conducted highly effective success coaching programs that have helped clients discover ways to achieve success, empower themselves, their families, as well as holistic practitioners to expand their practices. Get ready to be empowered with your host, Lois Herman.
Good morning and welcome to Inspiring Hope. I am your host, Lois Herman, and I hope to inspire you with positive messages and to celebrate everyday people who are making a difference in our world. When we focus our thoughts and energies on what we love to do, we create powerful shifts that cause us to be more positive and more peaceful. As we lift our energy, we empower everyone around us. If we each do what we can to make small shifts in awareness, from kindness to healthy habits and simple happiness, we create ripples of hope. Join us as catalysts for positive change for our families, our communities, and our world at large. I hope you are inspired by today's show. And happy spring, everyone. It's kind of rainy out there, but you know what? And we had the snow this week, but we also had some days of sunshine. And we need to celebrate the good things in our world. I hope that you're navigating these waters of uncertainty with some calm reserve. Everyone is dealing with increased stress during this time of global stress and strife. Whether you're struggling with income loss, the stress of being homebound, or exhausted from working on the front lines with the fear of exposure, I'm here to help you stay calm in this uncharted storm. As a stress management expert, I'm offering several ways to help you. We've got this radio show. I've started a Wednesday show as well, Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock. You can tune in. That show is it is a little bit different. I already had one last week, and it's uploaded to YouTube. So I'm doing these radio shows for you. I'm also uploading everything to my YouTube channel. So in addition to the radio shows, I'm doing other positive things that you can find on the YouTube channel. Now, I have YouTube channels. Other people have amazing positive stuff out there. We've got to tune out the news and tune into some positive messages to help each other through this time of great uncertainty, because we're fighting a worldwide crisis. And we need to come together and really support one another. And that's how we're going to get through this. You know, we've been through a lot. Americans have been through a lot. Worldwide, we've been through a lot. If you think about where you were at 9/11, everybody has their story. I even have my story. I was there. I remember John F. Kennedy's assassination. This is another one of those memories that we're going to, some years from now, we're going to say, where were you at the COVID-19 pandemic? So we will all have stories. We're living a story right now. We're going to get through this. We're all going to get through this. It's how we get through this, how we navigate the storm that matters. And there are a lot of positive people out there that are doing some really inspiring things. And I would tap into them. You can definitely go to my website, loisherman.com. I have blogs. I have dozens of blogs that are all positive. You can also link into my YouTube channel from there and watch all of these shows. I've had some incredible people on the show. All have positive things that you can do to keep yourself inspired. And also, if you friend my Facebook page, Lois Herman Success Coach, I belong to a vast number of groups of positive people, and I share and post with them all the time. Right now, we need daily doses of positivity. Those of us who are empaths, who are feeling all of the emotion, are really exhibiting the signs, the stress, all of that. Even I was dealing with some emotional stuff this week. I reached out to one of my counterparts for a hypnosis session for myself so that I could get myself grounded, centered. I got some answers that caused me to shift my energy to be more positive, to be back, okay, I've got a reset now. I'm good. I've got this. And I offer hypnosis sessions through Zoom. I've done it for years through Zoom. There are other people who are doing this. Reach out to them. The Zoom sessions are the sessions that I'm offering on a sliding scale. Many of us are without income right now, and I know that. My goal is to help you. Whatever your income is, we will figure this out. I want to help you navigate through this so that you come out of this on the other end stronger, more healthy, and in a better place, ready to take on the next phase of life. This is a phase we're going through. It truly is. It is a critical time to many, actually, to all of us. And the worst thing we can do right now is to point fingers, to turn this into a political battle, because this is not. This is a virus that is affecting everyone, and everyone needs to have responsibility for their actions and what they're doing to make a difference through this time. So I work with a lot of clients who are empathic and these are people who have that hypersensitiveness. I actually do an exercise, and the people who are empathic or empaths are more open to everything around them. They see, sense, hear, smell, feel. They take it all in, and I often will help them to shift, remove the negative energies, to teach them how to stay strong in their energy. And one of the best ways to do that is to connect with Mother Nature. Going out for a walk. I have to say that since I've been homebound, my husband and I have been on more walks in the past couple of weeks than we have in a couple of months. Well, a couple of months, it's been wintertime. So we're fortunate that this is happening at a time of spring where we can get out and walk. And I know it's raining today here in New England, but that's okay because we all know the rain will pass and there will be a rainbow at the end. And that's what we have to look at with this storm. We are in the middle of a storm. We don't know when it's going to end, but we do know there will be an end, just like we know that after night, day follows. So know that you will get through this. We need to reach out for your resources, and during this time, do some things to keep yourself healthy. So here's a baker's dozen homemade stress-busting recipes for you. 1, meditate. You might have a little bit more time on your hands now because you're not, even if you had a half an hour commute to work, that means you've got an extra hour in a day. Take some quiet time to quiet your mind. Relax your body each day and tap into that wise mind. Tap into a prayerful mode. Get some information that will help sustain you through this challenging time. Go for a walk. Take some time in nature. It's good for your breathing, your focus, and your peace of mind. Notice as you're walking, nature's budding. She's just been through that time of snow, of compression. And she's growing again. Take some time in nature and see how she grows, because you will grow past this. Eat healthy. Cook healthy meals and investigate keeping yourself, your body, healthy through this. It'll help to boost your immune system so that you will be stronger to fight any disease that might come through. Take your vitamins. Vitamin C for strength and health. B for energy. And D when we have limited sun exposure. And go to my website. Dr. Laura Chan gave us all kinds of wonderful tips. That's in a webinar that's free. It's on my website. She gave some amazing tips. And I've also sent out some information as to how you can click in and find out from a naturopathic doctor what you can do to keep yourself healthy. Online inspiration. Look for positive articles and videos to refresh your mind. There are a lot of people posting great things out there. Follow them. If somebody's chronically putting negative out there, unfriend them. Take doses. Get the positive going. Dance. Turn on the music and dance around your house. Just let it go. Get everybody involved. Move your body. Play some music. Do things that give you joy. There's also what I call pet therapy. Let the animals share their unconditional love. Do you know that one of the side effects? Hey, Art, I bet you didn't know this. One of the side effects, one of the positive effects of the coronavirus is more people are adopting pets right now.
I read that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what? The pets need somebody and we need them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, where you're going to be inside all the time, especially if you live by yourself. Maybe a pet is not a bad idea.
Yeah, especially cat if you're inside, and dogs will make you get out there and walk.
Yeah, and cats are all about self-isolation too at times, so you might have yourself a good companion there.
That's right, little Zen masters.
Yes.
I know when I'm working on the computer, I'll have a cat that comes right up in front of me, and she will not, I can't see the monitor. She knows, pet me. Yep. And my husband has a lap cat that, it's lap time. Anytime my husband sits down, lap time. Yep. So they keep us entertained.
They are entertaining.
Yes, they're both. And they're entertaining and they are they're calming because they insist on being petted, and just the act of petting calms us. They're animals that are for pet therapy, and so relax with the cat.
Yes. Good advice.
So a couple more, and then we're going to bring on a very special person. Stretch your body, move your shoulders. When we're sitting at the computer all the time, we're hunched over. You got to move your body, roll your shoulders, stretch, move. Just take a moment in between times at the computer to move a bit. And those of you who are into yoga, even if you do a few sun salutations in the morning to stretch, calm, and center the body, again, there are online programs that are being offered out there free. Yoga, Qigong, Tai Chi. There's a lot of stuff that people are posting that we can use, because there's so many people who are homebound, and people like me, I want to help. My goal, that is my mission, is to help. There are many people who are doing wonderful things. Massage. Okay, we can't go to a massage therapist right now, but we can give each other a massage. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just rub my shoulders, please. Rub my feet. It's helpful for each of us. And if you are a Reiki practitioner, you know that you can give yourself Reiki, or you can send distant Reiki. So you can contact your Reiki professional and ask them to send you some Reiki, and you will feel it. Confide. There are a lot of people who are going into massive fear right now. Talk with a trusted friend, a counselor, a minister, or a hypnotist to calm your stress. Get it out. Don't hold it in. Get somebody there. Let somebody help you through this. And smile. Find something creative that gives you joy and do it. Look up. Enjoy yourself, because you're never going to have this massive amounts of time on your hands again for most of us. And then we have the other people who are out there on the front lines, exhausted. Do something for them. Cook for them. There's actually a restaurant that has an doc or a nurse catering service. So we can do that for our friends. Cook a meal for our friends who are working. And I would like to invite you. You're listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590. And one of my dear friends coined this as, hey, do you know that that's Wiseman? So we are on the Wiseman station. And so I would like to invite in now, here at the studio, only the hosts are in the studio right now. So my guests are calling in, and I want to invite you to listen in to a very special friend, a very special guest who will share her experience and wisdom as an empath. So I would like to invite in Anne Bordeleau. So Anne, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Awesome. Well, Anne, how are you doing right now? I know you're a busy lady.
Yes, I'm doing very well. Just hanging in and just trying to, keep my energy balanced. So I'm very happy to be here with you this morning. Thank you so much, Lois. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And tell us a little bit about your background.
So I identify myself as an empath, but I really have been very sensitive to energy as a child. It's just, it has kind of like evolved over the years. realizing later on in life that I was a medium and working with energies. A lot of things just started to shift and open up after I had taken a Reiki class, and just kind of like wanting answers and, what's happening and, why is energy affecting me in a certain way? And just being able to, just look for those answers and look for people that are going to be able to help me. So I think, I have a pretty good handle on it, and my goal is to help other people that maybe don't even realize that they are empaths, also find some balance and, have that aha moment like, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I am, and this is why, and now, provide some resources and tips and tricks and, ways that they can now, things that they can do for their own life in order to be able to help be balanced and not be so overcome by all of this emotion.
Exactly. It's amazing how many people don't realize they are what we call empaths, but they feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I feel like I don't belong, and I feel isolated, I feel alone. This is even before this quarantine. So a lot of people who are empaths tend to pick up the energy of others. I consider they're kind of like the canary in the cage. They're very, very sensitive to other people. And what I often encourage them to do is to get away from people, to take a time out, a break, get out into nature, reconnect. So people don't identify with empaths, and I think there's become an awareness of what we consider, what we are comfortable calling people as empaths, and realize that there are a lot of people out there like that.
Yes. Absolutely. And one of the things that I would like to point out as well is that just because you're an empath does not mean that you're a victim. It just means that you're very super sensitive to energy, and there are ways that you can, live a quote unquote normal life and, understand what those energies are and how you can maintain in order to be able to create that balance for yourself.
And one of those things, you're exactly right. One of the things that I like to teach empaths, because they have this natural desire to want to help everybody. And one of the things that I have learned in my life is we can only help those who wish to be helped. So we can't save people. It's kind of like if somebody's drowning, you don't jump in the water with them, you throw them a lifeline. And this is what I want to teach, or what I tend to teach the empaths, is that the best thing you can do is put the oxygen mask on self, keep yourself grounded, centered, and protected, and then when they're ready, you can reach a hand out to help them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And I think that's one of the, and I'm always saying this, you've heard me say it many times, and I say it, quite often, that one of the most frustrating things is wanting to be able to help somebody, but you have to sit back and kind of be in observer mode, because you can't want for something for somebody more than they want it for themselves.
That's a perfect quote. Can you say that quote again?
Yes. So you can't want something for somebody more than they want it for themselves.
And that's what happens with a lot of empaths, because they're sensitive. They're feeling what another person is ignoring. A lot of people don't realize that they're having these emotions and they're reacting. And so an empath is able to sense and understand where the feeling is coming from. And there's a lot of that going on right now. There's a lot of fear out there. People don't quite understand where that fear is coming from. They just know that they're afraid, and they're exhibiting it in ways of, they're in anger and frustration, and there's an uptick in suicides right now. And what we need to do is help people to understand that feelings are real, and they're to be expressed. They're not to be bottled up. If you have a feeling of fear, reach out to someone who can help you through it, who can help you clarify it, who can help you to navigate through it. Don't bottle it up, because then it comes out, it explodes.
Yes, absolutely. And, one of the main differences between, being empathic or being sympathetic to somebody versus being an empath is that, you can as a being sympathetic to somebody or being, empathic to somebody, you try and put yourself in their position and feel what they're feeling, versus being an empath where you're so super sensitive to that energy that you actually are feeling what that person is feeling in that particular moment. So you're feeling the emotional stress. You're feeling any physical ailments that they have. Most empaths, I know for myself, I feel any physical pain on my body that's coming from the other person. So it's really on all levels, and it's very. You have to kind of like draw that boundary and be able to recognize, well, what's my energy and what is the other person's energy, and then being able to, make that cut that cord, so to speak, and be able to give that person their energy back, but do it with love and compassion.
And compassion that's the key, is there are people out there that are responding to the fear in different ways. As I was saying earlier, there are some people who are extroverts and they're homebound, or there are some people who are homebound with people that they don't really like, or they're homebound with a bunch of children without an outlet. So they're dealing with one type of stress. There are other people like me who truly, I'm an introvert. I'm homebound. I'm happy as a clam. That doesn't bother me. But those people that are dealing with that stress, that's one type of stress, versus other people who are homebound and they're fearful for their job. There have been so many people who have been laid off, so many people who are worried about where the money's going to come from for the bills. And I truly believe that that we won't let each other down. We will support each other in some way through this. I think that institutions, businesses, we all need to support one another, and we'll be there for each other. Again, hindsight a year down the road will be, who was there for me? Who stepped up? Who was helpful? And that's what we need to do. Sometimes when we are in that mode of poor me, oh my God, the best thing to do is shift into what can I do for another, so that getting out of that negative spiral of mindset and shifting into something that is being helpful, even if it's making masks for people, for the first responders, making food for somebody else, doing something to help another will help shift out of that. And the empaths need to learn how to separate, as you were saying, what is my feeling and what is their feeling. Learning how to put up, you and I both talk about protective bubbles, putting out on our armor, putting on protective shielding so that we don't take on another's energy and another's pain, because that's not fair to us as empaths if we're carrying all that other stuff around. It's the other person, that is their energy to carry. We can help them if they're interested, and if we can also let them know that we are here for them. And that's what you and I are both doing. And there are many people who are out there who are here for other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I think,
go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the other things too is that, yes, we absolutely need to look and see, where we can be helpful. But I think that one of the biggest things is that we need to look within ourselves first. Because, like you were using the example of, the oxygen mask, you have to help yourself first. And if you can't, then you're not going to be good to anybody else. And I think that, everything that's going on right now is a real wake-up call for people to be able to look and, the ones that are always helping or blaming, they need to start looking within. And, how are they showing up for themselves as well as for other people? So there's going to be a lot of change, a lot of shift, a lot of life choices now, because it's right in front of your face, and there you can't deny it. So as much as people maybe have been putting off things that they didn't want to deal with, they don't have a choice now, because they're homebound or, it's right in their face.
Right.
So.
And Art and I were just talking before the show that there are people who, personally, that I was inspired by in the past, and I have to say I'm becoming disappointed in them because they've turned, instead of this being let's help each other, they've turned it into a finger-pointing blame game. And this is a virus that is affecting all of humanity, and everybody is doing the best they can. And we must come together and support one another. And you're right, the best way to do that is to take care of self first. Yes, we're practicing isolation, and it's because of taking care of self, but I do not want to feel guilty that by my neglect, I spread this to my child, my parent, or my friend, because maybe they're they're more vulnerable. So I know, we're practicing extreme sterile conditions here in the studio because the studio is an emergency preparedness site. So I know that coming in here, I'm safe, but I will be going from here straight back to home, isolation, because it's about being responsible to avoid spreading this. And people can have this. Many people have this virus and they don't even know it. And they're spreading it without knowing it. And then after the fact, they would feel very guilty if someone that they spread it to ends up sick and dies. So there are people dying. This is a very, very real situation. But what can we do during this time to keep ourselves healthy, to keep from spreading it, and to help those first-line responders? We have people who are out there on the front lines that need whatever we can do to help them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I think that, there are a number of people, that are not surviving this disease. And that, unfortunately, that's what's making the news. What's lacking is that there's not a lot of the positive that, for as many people that are passing, there are many people that are living, that are surviving, that are getting through this. And that's what we need to hear as well. Just, if not to provide a balance, but to say, hey, you know what? There is hope. And this is something that you can overcome. It doesn't mean that because you get this, that it's a death sentence.
That's exactly right. And when we were in the throes of 9/11, one of the worst things that happened was they showed that video on TV over and over and over again, and it caused extreme stress and fear among people. Instead of showing all of the wonderful support, people rallied, they supported one another. We didn't find out about that, or that wasn't shown until after the crisis was over. So we truly are in crisis mode right now. So everything seems to be sensationalized. So it's like the stages of grief. We're kind of like in shock right now. And we will be able to get through this. We've got to look beyond it and say, we're going to be okay. And if we can tell ourselves, I'm going to be okay, I'm going to do my part. And if that part means I'm going to learn new ways to entertain my children at home, new ways to be creative with my finances, new ways to support other people who are out there, that I'm going to do my part. During the World War II, I asked my mom, because she was around then, and she said they were rationed. They had to stand in line for bread, for eggs, for coffee. And they also did what they could to help in the war. This is a microscopic enemy that we're dealing with. So we need to support one another and not create anger, blame, and shame. This is not the time or place for that. And this is part of what I believe this virus is shaking up and waking up. Get together, come together as humans and support one another. And the empaths are the ones that are feeling it the most. We need to support them to get them strong and healthy so that they can help each other.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and what we're feeding ourselves, whether it be the physical food, mental, emotional, or spiritual, that type of food that we need to be mindful of and be really careful and set those boundaries. Have technology-free days, and that means turning off the phone or setting a time limit for watching the news. and just getting out and being more grounded. Make sure that you're getting enough rest. And then, take this opportunity to really see what life would be like, how it's going to be different. Mm-hmm. What things were you taking for granted prior to all of this happening? Right. A lot of people are upset because they can't go to Starbucks, at 5:30 in the morning because they've changed their hours, or they can't go to the gym because the gyms have closed. Mm-hmm. So what types of things have changed and shifted that maybe you were taking for granted that they were always going to be there, that they're not, and you need to make those kinds of shifts.
And what kind of things, when this is all over with, did we realize that we didn't really need? Because we do go through a lot of motions and a lot of we put a lot of expectations on ourselves because that's the way it always was. Well, this is shaken up what was, and we are now in that pause. I use the analogy a lot. When fishermen can't go to sea, they mend their nets. We can't go to sea right now. We're having to mend our nets. So once the net is mended, how will we fill it? What will be different? Because it will. We will decide, you know what? It was more important to go for a walk than to go to the gym. How will your priorities shift as a benefit of us going through this period of reset, of looking at what is important? And we are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman, and I'm speaking with my guest, Anne Bordeleau. And Anne, you actually have a wonderful online Facebook presence. You post positive things all the time. So how can people join your group, or how can they tap into your positive posts that you put out there?
Thank you for bringing that up, Lois. So I do have my personal page and my business page as well. It's under Anne M. Bordeleau, and the last name is spelled B as in boy, O-R, D as in David, E-L-E-A-U. And the majority of my posts are all public. So my feeling is that, I don't want to put anything negative out there. So they're more encouraging, they're more positive. Sometimes I will do like a card reading, or channel some messages that I've received, but I try and put as much positive stuff out there as possible. But I also like to put things out there that are going to make people think, that are going to challenge them, that, will really make them pause and look inside and see, well, what is it about myself that, that I need to change, or that I need to work on, or that I need to shift, in order to be able to change up their own energy. So try and be more educational as well.
Exactly. And so what can empaths do, or other people do, to clear their energy, to keep themselves strong? I'm talking just about their energy, because I know you deal a lot with energies, to keep themselves strong and comfortable at a time like this, when they start going down that path of negative thought. And you're right, we need to feed ourselves healthy things, be it food, be it what we're exposing ourselves to via the news, or other people who are on rants, be it Twitter or whatever. Pause on them. Find people who are inspiring and help to reset. So what do you recommend to help people keep their energy strong through this time?
Well, one of the biggest things that I recommend is, when you feel like you're going down a negative path, or, you're starting to feel a little bit off, acknowledging that and be like, okay, what's going on right now in this present moment? Who am I talking to? What am I watching? Where am I? What does my environment look like? And that way it will help to pinpoint some of the influences that may be causing that shift in energy, because like we had mentioned before, that energy may not be yours. It may be coming from some other source. And so that's the first step in trying to recognize that. You had already talked about, creating the bubble, and I have, creating sacred space, which for me is super important, because I'm getting energies from all sides 24/7. So I need to build kind of like my own, like almost like a vault around myself of, pure white light in order to be able to help repel some of those energies or filter through just the ones that I need to pay attention to. Establishing boundaries is very important as well, between yourself and your job, yourself and other people, and learning to say no is huge.
My favorite phrase is "not now." For the people who tend to overcommit, I will say, I know it's hard to say no, but if you just push pause and say "not now," and right now we're all pushed pause. We're all living lives that are different than our life 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And then we've got the first responders who are out there overdoing it. And they're exhausted. Then they have to come in and pretend like nothing happened. And then they've got to be mom, dad, family member, whatever. And so there's so many different types of stress out there. And that's what you're feeling. That's what people feel, is it's different. And we're going to get into a place of calmness. There will be an eye in the storm where we will acquiesce into, okay, I understand this is happening. I'm safe. I'm going to get through this. What can I do? Push pause. How can I be more helpful to someone else? What can I share on social? Who can I pick up the phone and call who I may be able to inspire, or just to bring, one of my favorite, this whole show is about inspiring hope. And you are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590. I'm here every Sunday morning and Wednesday evenings. And on Wednesday evenings, I'm actually going through, it's a little bit of a different show. I am going through and sharing parts of the book that I have created. Actually, there are 2 books, and I will be sharing both. The first book, the Chronicles of Hope, Book 1, Book 2 is about to be completed, and I have been given instruction to get the messages out there because the messages are for humanity. So I will be sharing their messages as well, even before the book is out, because it is so timely. The messages I was given, I was honored to have been given, are for you. They're for humanity. And a lot of what I am sharing, even in my belief system and in my daily life, comes from the messages that were given to me over the past several years. And Anne, you and I are like mind. You get similar messages, and what we are doing is we're putting it out there so that people can listen. And there are many who are hearing it, many who know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of people out there that have just been waiting for this information or waiting, and it's all in divine timing, right? So even though you had started with the sessions and the writing of the book a couple years ago, it's like right now is when it's needed most. So everything happens in exactly the right time. We just have to believe and have faith and trust that everything is happening for a reason.
Exactly. And one of the Facebook groups that I belong to has posted that there is going to be, and I will get more information, I will put this on my website, but they're next on 4/4, April 4th, is that Friday night? I think it's Friday. Or maybe it's Saturday. Anyway, 4/4 Eastern Time at 10:45 in the evening p.m., there is going to be a 20-minute global prayer. It's going to traverse the globe for healing. For healing for the virus, for healing for the people, for healing for our precious planet Gaia. So there are people who are coming together to pray, to meditate, to connect, because together we can make a difference. We can, and this is my phrase these days, is we can be catalysts for positive change. We must come together and appreciate each other, honor one another, respect one another. And that's where, again, like you said, Anne, Turn off the news, turn off the political. There's no reason to make this a political agenda. That to me is very disappointing. This is a time of coming together. And those who are more spiritually evolved, more aware, are willing to come together. And that's how you will know the difference. If somebody is divisive, somebody's coming from their own position of greed, that's a person to look out for. We need to come together.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, I also would like to make a comment that, this is not about religions either. No. It's not, being, a more spiritual or connecting, to a higher power or the universe, whatever you would like to call it, what you were raised with, it's having that one-on-one direct connection. So that transcends any kind of religion, because we are all connecting at some point or at some level to a same divine source. So it's not just about being a religion. It's not one being better than the other. We're all in this together, and that's one of the things that I really feel like is being brought forth. It's like it doesn't matter where you are in the world, what you believe. We're all in this together.
Absolutely.
And we're all going to get through it.
And if you do have a religious or a spiritual practice, do it. It's not about that's not good. It is good. If you have a belief, it's follow through what's in your heart. Do what feels right for you, for yourself, for each other, and call upon the spiritual guides. If you're very Christian, you want to call on Jesus. Oh my gosh, he brought me flowers the other day when I was feeling down, and then that's all I needed to shift. I have a very strong connection with him. Am I specifically myself religious? No, but I have a very powerful connection with Jesus and others that are helping. We must ask them, come from your heart with whatever feels right for you. If it is an organized religion that you belong to, celebrate it. That's okay. Celebrate it from a place of what can I do, not from a place of blame or that I'm better than. Because it's like saying that the French language is better than the Taiwanese language. They're just different. And that's what's comfortable. The different religions are perfectly fine with what you're raised to believe, what is natural to you. It's not about blame. It's about what fits for you is what's important. And we all fit together. So that's the beauty of this coronavirus bug, is it's showing that it doesn't matter what race, what language you speak, what belief system you have. If you're human, guess what? You could be more vulnerable. Granted, those of us who have more physical issues or who are a little bit older are going to be they're going to have a more vulnerable time recovering. So the younger people, the healthier people are going to pass through this. However, there are those that will never even show signs. I think it was Iceland tested every single, I don't know if they could test everybody, but they did a test of everybody, and there were 50% of the people who tested positive who had no signs or symptoms. So just because you're not feeling sick does not mean that you're not a carrier. So do your part. Stay home, stay away, practice sterile procedures, do whatever you can. But this is a time of coming together, regardless of beliefs, of religions, of nationalities, of ethnicities. If we can come together because we are all one in humanity, then we can make a difference. And that's what this is all about.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And, before I even leave the driveway in the morning, I always check in with my connections, my divine team, and I ask them, please help me to see, hear, feel, know, and speak the messages of peace, love, hope, compassion, and healing that need to get out there in the world. And whoever needs to hear them in whatever form or fashion that is. And I thank them for allowing me to be their conduit or their channel for those messages.
Exactly.
And sometimes I need to hear those messages as well. And I think that's one of the things that we find quite often in the healing world is that, we're talking to somebody, coaching them or doing whatever kind of session, and we get the recognition or the acknowledgement, oh, you know what, that's coming down heavy on me too. That's a message that I needed to hear for myself. So
that's entirely true. I liken it, coming from a medical background, I liken it to when we're working with people. Sometimes we catch the virus, or that, in a medical world we practice isolation procedures, and we're very careful about cross-contamination. But every now and again we might catch a cold or some sort of we could get sick. It's a different type of sick. People who are empaths, people who are working in the spiritual world helping others, will sometimes take on the other person's pain, as you were talking about earlier, and that is a different type of catching an emotional sickness. And you and I were talking before, we both have knowledge of the fact that we have 4 parts to our body: ourselves, our physical, our being that we're here. And you are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman, and I'm here with Anne Bordeleau, who is a powerful she's a coach and a medium and an empath, and she helps people to clear their energies. And you and I both have acknowledged that there are 4 parts to us. There is the physical. Many people are only focused on the physical, and that is that's the vehicle that drives us through this life. However, there's also the mental, the intellectual, that we need to stimulate, that we need to keep feeding the thought. And this is why we gravitate towards the news. We want to learn something, but shift to learning something positive instead, okay? Then there is the emotional part, and that's the part that right now, if people are not physically sick, they're dealing with extreme emotional sickness right now. That's the fear, the anxiety, the nervousness, oh my God, the worry is attacking our emotional body. But our spiritual body is the eternal body. That is the one that lives on. That is the one that we need to tap into, that wise mind that helps to guide us through all of our existence. So tell us a little bit more about those parts of us right now and what we're dealing with, Anne.
So as I like to refer to it as you said, that as the 4 bodies, but I look at it in reverse order that you had just mentioned, because it all starts with the spiritual body.
Yes.
So everybody is born, with their own set of guides, their own divine team, their own helpers, and that acts as the intuition, or what we know as intuition, and to help us make make choices. So that's kind of like the spiritual voice, if you will. And if you're not listening to that, then it starts to come in to the next inner layer, which is the mental layer. And then if you're still not listening to those messages, and then it comes into the emotional, because the emotional is now getting stronger. And then if you're still not listening to those messages, you're not paying attention to your intuition, your gut instincts, then it comes down to the physical. And that physical level is really the last-ditch effort that says, hey, we've been trying to get in touch with you and trying to get you these messages, trying to help guide you in the direction, and you're not listening. So now we're going to this physical pain that you're feeling is because that's the only way that we know how left in order to be able to get your attention.
That's perfectly said. And if you think about someone like, I know this is a fictitious person or persona, but if you think about Yoda, how he was like bazooka proof, right? But now think about, let's take what you just said and turn it around. What if we feed our bodies healthy, keep them strong, keep the immune system good, boosted by eating our greens, taking our nutritional supplements and the things that we need to keep our physical body strong, doing some movement and keeping that physical vehicle energized. And what if we keep our emotions calm and centered and are paying attention to those emotions? And when they start to feel, it's important to allow yourself to feel, but when they start to feel a little bit out of alignment, it's good to reach out, to shift it, to pay attention to it, to shift the emotions to a higher level of vibration. And then we use the intellect, we learn, we allow ourselves to think and do, we feed it positive things to keep our mind and creative and stimulated. And then above that, then we end up tapping into that spiritual world because we have fed ourselves on the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual, or the mental level that helps us to tap into the spiritual. Because many people say, how do you do that? How I can close my eyes right now and I can hear my guides, as can you. Why? This didn't happen overnight. This is a process I have used for many years to tap into that. And sometimes if I am not feeding myself well on any of those levels, I misinterpret the message, and I sometimes need I ask them not to give me a 2x4. But there have been times when things have happened that have caused me to pay attention, to shift what I am doing in order to be more connected with that spiritual part of us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, yeah, I mean, your team knows you well because they've been with you, your entire life. And so it's okay to ask them, for me, it's like, I always say, if you need me to see something, then please just put it right in front of my face, because other than that, it goes right over the head,
Yeah.
But, yes, it is about, getting positive messages and so forth. But we also have to look at, our life is not going to be 100% positive. We can strive for that, but there are the other things that happen to us, and I don't want to, say negative and mean it in like a huge, traumatic connotation. But, there are things that happen to us. One, because we have expectations, and whatever that situation was didn't match up to the expectation that we had of it. And it could be a situation or a person. Everything that happens to us that might take us back or make us, take stock in what we're doing is cause for new knowledge, and it's there for a reason. So, we need to embrace all of it, because like the yin yang, everything has to balance itself out.
Exactly.
So you have to have these other instances in order to be able to see and recognize, oh, well, this is what I was taking for granted. Or, this is what really needed to change, and this is why this happened. So we don't get that kind of knowledge or experience without going through all of these other instances as well. That's what makes us who we are.
And through challenge stimulates growth. And
Absolutely.
I'm not sure how it's exactly said, but, a seed has to push hard to get through. A caterpillar has to come out of that chrysalis in order to turn into a butterfly. We are in that cocoon right now, where we are in that quiet state. And you are listening to Lois Herman and Ann Bordeleau. This is Inspiring Hope. We're here every Sunday morning, and we will also be able to hear this as replays and on the YouTube channel. Please, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're doing everything we can to put positive things out there from myself, from people like Ann and others. We are doing our best to keep you fed with positive, inspiring thought, so that as you come through this time of chrysalis, where we are cocooned right now, but we're going to come through this with beautiful, amazing wings when this is all done, if we focus our energies on positive things. Thank you, Anne, for being with us today. Thank all of you for listening, and I hope that you will be with us next time. Meanwhile, look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day. God bless.